Just some more jewelry and post up. Here, Josh Sosa. Hey, drinking mimosa. I was in the hood. Started to be purple and I said, no testing. If I got the hand around, I can stop busting. Let's get it. What's going on, family? It's your favorite trap therapist, the one and only Hood Bye, checking in for another rendition of How's Your Heart Doing podcast with Hood Bye. We are live here, I think, for the first time ever. I'm simultaneously doing this while on YouTube Live. I wanted to kind of get myself back in a space to where I show up, you know what I'm saying? And show up understanding that I want to be seen. I want to be seen fully. I want the light to shine on me in the space where I've actually been sitting down and doing the motherfucking work. You know what I'm saying? Been sitting down doing the work. Like I'm even now, like I'm used to sitting there and looking at my phone. You know what I'm saying? I got my phone recording at the same time. But it's like, yeah, I'm on YouTube Live right now, live from Riverdale, Georgia. And yeah, family, how you doing, man? How's your heart doing today? Let's go turn this down a little bit, man. I got that young shot to God playing. There you go. Got that young shot to God playing in the back. Had to turn that down. Yeah, man. So wanted to come on here today. I have been very slowly but surely getting myself back into the swing of showing up and wanting to challenge myself and showing up in a very transparent way. In seasons where you got to be quiet for a while. I didn't realize that it was a year that I went a year without really recording anything. I had looked back at my last before I recorded my last episode. I think it was like December 2020 when I came on here and really did a podcast episode, and I sit with what 2021 actually meant for me, what it looked like for me. I'm in a space of deep transition. As I always, I talk about during the course of this podcast, we transition from the Trap Therapist podcast now to the How's Your Heart Doing podcast with Hood Bye. All my branding folks, you understand, like when you go through those different seasons, you got to make sure that your narrative and who people and how they address you is aligned with how you see yourself. And while the Trap Therapist was absolutely a season in my life where it was like, yeah, this is an ethic that I'm looking to introduce to people as around what it means to heal for Black and brown communities, what it means to take a culture driven, community based, African centered approach towards healing and therapy, and not this European model that is very transactional, very detached from body and spirit. To really sit and do that work, in 2021, in a time where, for my personal self, that's why I had to come back on here, because I'm like, let me get back talking about my actual self and what I've been going on, what I've been going through, so y'all can kind of understand some of the things that I share on my Instagram page. I want to shout out my Trap Therapy family, anybody that's hopping on here from the ground. So much love. I think about it, like, I don't got the most followers in the world, but 2,600 people, majority of which I haven't met in real life, majority of which are all across the country, across the world. And y'all tune in and tap in with a nigga, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis. Y'all do that. And I don't take that for granted whatsoever. Nah, man, don't take that granted whatsoever. So yeah, for the past 3 years, like I said, I've been showing up in this cricket room as a trap therapist, as an integrated healer. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about the integration now and what that looks like, and where the foundation that saw me say, you know what, I'm going to actually get away from moving and working as a therapist in this way, in this capacity. And I'm going to trust myself, trust spirit, and do something different. So that's what I did. I chose to do something a little different. And that really was me realizing that moving in a place where I created more boundaries and barriers for myself to work with my people, i.e., licensure, i.e., supervision, i.e., all of the gifts and the talents that I was already building as a creative professional that had just self-published a book, that had just launched a website, that had just created this platform with Soul Sessions, my conversation party, doing that at the same time while trying to align with the cricket room that says you got to get a degree, you got to make sure you license, you got to go through these channels to be the healer that you are. And I'm like, all right, I fuck with it because at the time I'm a young father and I got to make money and I got to do things. When I'm not really understanding, a lot of the things that we say, when you got an ethic, it's hard for other people to check you. It's like, nah, I can see where I can and can't do. I understand, the confines of how I'm supposed to move and how I'm supposed to practice. But it clashed. So most people don't know I have a bachelor's in urban planning. So a large part of my background as a consultant is in community planning, nonprofits, grants, community development plans, infrastructure, what it means to vision shit. So I'm already approaching healing and what I do professionally from a place of like, what's the most efficient way to get the actual job done and do what I need to do. So, you know, doing that, it pushed me into a space where I'm like, all right, I need to really kind of hone in and define what it means for me to show up and be a healer. Because I started with the Tony Robbins. I started with the, Tony Gaskins, the Rob Hills. Them folks ain't having nobody license. They just, what I'm saying, like got an ethic, right? So I'm like, all right, well, shit, them niggas getting paid. Well, shit, what it look like for me to get paid? So I'm thinking I'm finna be this relationship guru, this life coach, this expert. And that's not what happened. What ended up happening is really me, not with the awareness I have now, but really me interrogating my identity, interrogating my experience, interrogating what it means and what it looked like for me to be a black man in this society in America. And I don't take that lightly. Like that ain't no little shit. Um at that time, I didn't realize why it was so hard for my shit to stick. I didn't realize why it was so hard for people to fuck with me and fuck with what I was doing and fuck with my campaign, because I wasn't saying the shit that aligned with, heteronormative, like, husband, wife, white picket fence, you have your kids, you make your money, and the black nuclear black family, that black excellence shit. I wasn't pushing that as much as I was just interrogating, okay, why is it that this is the model when I know we come from places where we don't necessarily live like this in America. Like, if this is the model, but we so detached from each other, so detached from family, so detached from, ourselves, and nobody's happy, and I don't see any like husbands and wives that I want to live like. It was a couple around me growing up, but I didn't see nobody that I wanted to necessarily mirror or emulate. So I'm like, well, shit, what are we doing and why are we doing it? If money is the bottom line and money is the end all be all, then what are we doing all this for, right? So understanding my stance as a extremely, now look at me now. That's why I had to come on here. I want y'all to see a nigga a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big black man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a former linebacker, like played ball, very aggressive, will run through a nigga chest, um, run through a nigga soul. You know what I'm saying? For real. But I really sit with and I think about what it means for me and what it meant for me at that time to really interrogate my experience, realizing that I had not felt safe, and I did not feel safe in my very able body. in my very big, in my very strong, in my very intelligent, in my very capable body, I did not feel safe. So to realize that, okay, if I don't feel safe and I'm in relationship with people, I'm always interrogating how I'm taking up space and what my identity means in relationship to the people that I'm in community with and the people I say I love and the folks that I fuck with, my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to understand that this interrogation didn't just start. This was interrogation that started at an early age, right? And so part of I mean, not part, the point of this episode, me coming on here, is to really discuss where and how my identification as a nurturing dominant actually came about. Understanding what it meant for me at 5 years old, 6 years old, the process that my father was present. However, my father wasn't willing. My father wasn't able or capable at that time to be present, right, in my life. However, he was physically right around the corner to process what it meant for the burden of survival to actually be distributed evenly amongst people, and realizing at 5, 6 years old how the burden of survival was shifted and put on me in positions where I had to not be a child and I had to grow up. I had to be a caretaker. I had to look after my younger brother. I had to be a lot more discerning and aware of danger and what it meant to be in the world and how defenseless I actually am. So what does it mean? What does it mean to slow down? If my able black body, if the standard of all this shit, right? If you supposed to be a big strong black man, right? If that's not even a big strong black man, but if masculinity and manhood of God is this big powerful, being, masculine being in the sky, that's what we've been told. That's how we've been conditioned, right? And to sit with at a very young age, to be stripped of the veil of childhood, to feel like you got folks that's gonna take care of you and cover you, realize, oh shit, nah, nigga, I'm actually out here by myself. Shit is actually fucked up for real. It ain't sweet. You know what I'm saying? It's not peaches and cream, right? To interrogate and really look at how my mother, in the absence of my father, had to embody her masculine energy and create the structure, create the discipline, create the consistency, create the routine, create the capacity for me to sit down and be still and not run amok, right? To have to do that, which now I can in interrogation, now in introspection, now with the radical awareness, I can see robbed her of her capacity to feel, her capacity to be feminine, right? So it's almost as if I came into me and my mama complete opposites. We polar opposites in terms of how we express our love. My mama is not lovey-dovey emotional. Like when she happy and she want to show you love, she gonna cook for you and she gonna buy you shit. You know what I'm saying? She gonna cook for you. She gonna buy you shit. She gonna want to laugh with you. You know what I'm saying? But she ain't really the super. Oh baby, I love you. That ain't my mama. So me and my super romantic, lovey-dovey, touchy-feely. You know what I'm saying? Words of affection having that. I really sit with how me coming into the world allowed her a space to feel that softness, to really sit with her son with a heart as big as I got. I've been loving niggas since from the jump. I've been this way, right? To sit with really the embodiment of the feminine, and that's part of the interrogation. That's part of my challenge to anybody listening to this is understanding if we can align, if we can understand that the binary is false, if we can challenge and we can attack that and we can accept what that femininity and masculinity show up different in bodies. I want to continue interrogating it. I want to interrogate how we see femininity in black masculine bodies, how it don't it's not about aesthetic, how it's not necessarily about um flavor, so to speak, right? um and more about the ability or capacity to do what feminine energy does, to align with what masculine energy is. So when we talk about the divine feminine and divine masculine, understanding that the interrogation of these things leads to the integration of both parts, who you are fully, right? The masculine and the feminine. Again, it goes back to, even if you challenge in a binary, is it really masculine and feminine, or is it just this circle and this cycle of all of the parts of us that make us who we are, right? So again, like I said, growing up with that radical awareness around what it meant for me to be a young black man in the South, growing up in Atlanta, growing up with individuals like Andre 3000 as cultural, you know what I'm saying, like standards, right? What it meant to be a young fly, you know, different nigga, right? Not necessarily dress, to throw shit on a little differently, right? To put the bright colors on, to mismatch this and that, and to throw the overalls on, and not have no shirt on, right? To expose myself, and had the fly shades on, and throw the golds in my mouth, and to wear the jewelry, and to, you know what I'm saying, be loud, be brash, right? All of these things aesthetically, when we talk about, I think there's an intersection of trap culture and trap, this hip hop southern shit, when we don't really sit with the intersections of blackness and queerness, and culturally how we've always been fluid. I feel like the trap has always been fluid. The hood has always been queer. It is not necessarily about sexual function as much as it is about our fluidity, because blackness is everything. It is the ether. It's all of it, right? So if we made all of it, then we can't deny it in all of us. It don't look the same. Your fluidity don't gotta look like mine. It could just look that I don't align with this cricket room. Can we just all agree on something? Can we agree on the fact that this cricket room got us all in a prison? Right? Can we sit with that? Perhaps that's actually what's going on, and that is nothing is actually wrong with us. But the cricket room got us, again, throwing shit up against a whiteboard that look like middle-aged, basic ass white men. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm too fly for that. Too fly for that. So understanding, like I said, growing up and having these images and having these experiences, and I talk about, being playing football and also being a street nigga. I wrote my book King Without a Crown, and I detailed my experience being a scholar athlete, being the top student in my class at the same time my best friend being gangsters, you know what I'm saying, being niggas who was in the streets, growing up with a very, very tough exterior, at the same time being the safe space for these same gangsters, for these individuals who didn't really have nobody that they could talk to about shit, that wasn't gonna judge them, that wasn't gonna make them feel some type of way about shit. And I'm just like, that was me. So I sit with, even with certain, movies like Moonlight, where you shine a light on what it means for the masculine to create safety amongst the masculine, and how when you remove the lens of shame and guilt, and anti-blackness and homophobia on that shit, you can really see that we're all literally looking for safe spaces. All of us. When people wonder why young niggas crash out, we can talk about what's going on in the street, like when young niggas, the gun violence, eye for an eye. When you understand the bonds that are built when you realize that how oppressive this system actually is, yeah, you can hold space for why it is that. You take my brother, I got to slide on one of yours. I got to take one of yours, right? Because that's my safe space, right? That's my love. That's my blood. That's my, you see what I'm saying? That's my lifeline, right? You can't do that to me. So the understanding in that way, again, removing the shame, removing the guilt, you can understand, you can integrate the sexual aspect of it, which is the only thing, the main thing that many black men, specific like cis heterosexual black men, and a lot of the masculine in this patriarchal ass society, things we have a hard time grappling with, where we what we do with our genitalia, right? And the reality of it is the whole conversation is never had with the integration of spirit, never had with the integration of anything other than what the cricket room says you're supposed to feel and how the cricket room space say you're supposed to move, right? So again, slowing down and realizing and interrogating and looking at all of my relationships, all of my partners, all of the niggas that I sacrificed shit for, felt so much loyalty for, felt like I owed so much shit to, right? The ways in which like we don't necessarily prioritize marriage as much as we prioritize committed partnership, right? The ways in which we build, you know what I'm saying, like tribes of people, really interrogating what it means to live in the South and how a lot of that aligns with queerness, with fluidity, with, you know, non-traditional forms of identifying and living. That is, it's essential, I think, at this point to start having that conversation. So in my work as a psychotherapist, in my work as a healer, in my work in the past 3 years, being on the front lines and kind of removing the barriers to access for me, working with the individuals. I don't work with over 100 individuals last year. Like, and I take pride in it to say that. Like, I touched at least over 100 people. Like, and that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so to really sit with the amount of grace that I've had to give myself in order to hold space for those individuals and their identity crises and their, you know, the moments where they're grappling with who and what and how they experience life and this pain and the things that happen to them and why things happen and what. Yeah, man, it's a whole lot of love that we got to give each other. And the ways that most of us give each other love and the ways that most of us walk through that, you know, trauma, we don't walk through it. We dive and we jump into it and we create these trauma bonds and we get triggered and we re-traumatize ourselves and we go through these same cycles because we can't slow down enough to really see like where the root of the pain is. So in my time as a psychotherapist, I think as much as I discuss and I break down and analyze my experience as a black man, I've come to find that majority of my clientele have been femmes, specifically black femmes, specifically black women. Um, and that's taught me so much. I think for one, confirmed a lot for me. And at the same time, also um, helped me realize and understand my actual power and what it means to create a container for the fire that is the feminine. You know what I'm saying? Um, Cookie says society has men thinking it's bad to show their soft side. Yep. Why do we men bury it so deep and compartmentalize who they truly want to be sexually? It goes back to the safety. I think that's what it really is. It goes back to the safety, right? If I'm not safe in my own body, when I see reflections of myself outside, we black men, we don't carry guns for white boys. We don't carry guns for our women. We don't carry guns for the KKK. We carry scraps for niggas that look like us. We carry scraps for the reflections of ourselves. So if I'm not safe in my body, it's going to be very hard for me to feel safe with you if I haven't created something inside of myself that says that I'm enough. And I live with an ethic that isn't looking, then it's very aware of my imprint and how I can cause harm and my ability to cause harm to my community and the people I'm in relationship with. So when I'm safe, and a lot of times we feel safer in the shadows. Again, we talk about, like, the DL culture and what it means for niggas to, what I'm saying, be like, nah, nigga, I'm safer with my shadows. I'm safer with my vices. I'm safer when it's dark, when nobody can see me. That's when I feel safe. That's what this society, this conditioning has us believe, that we safe when we're not, right? And again, it's an energy, right? It's an energy. So again, when you in that shadow, like, yeah, it's all good. But when that light come, when you in the light and you moving in that way, it's hard to bring them shadows to the light if you don't feel safe. It's hard to integrate those shadows. Very hard to integrate those shadows. And this path and this journey for me in the past 6 years really has been an interrogation of the shadows, and having to interrogate the shadows. Um, nah, energy don't lie. um I feel like you can manipulate energy for sure, like, because you can feed off of whatever it is that you feeding off of, you know what I'm saying. It won't might not last though. Again, like you said, it's gonna show itself at some point. But I sit with, um yeah, just what it means for us to actually integrate the shadows, how you feel safe when it's safer there, when you feel more comfortable there, when it's more company there, when it's more validation there. That season of isolation don't feel that good. It's not gonna always feel good, right? It's not gonna, and I think that's part of it, the elevation and how well you actually sit with and know yourself. What does it mean to actually love yourself, right? Validation. So it's something that, I talk about with my people. We talk about trauma informed therapy or trauma informed clinicians, but I talk about trauma informed identities. So trauma informed identities that says that because I experienced this pain and developed this personality that's had to protect me from this type of pain in the world, like, now I've created this story about myself that now if I receive any type of positive reinforcement for, that story gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and stronger and more validated and have more goddamn roots. And it's gonna be real hard to break free from that narrative. So yeah, it could be that. A lot of us be addicted to the pain and addicted to the trauma and addicted to that story and that narrative because you ain't sat with the shit yet, right? It's pain you ain't felt yet. You feel validated when that, you know what I'm saying? Because you feel like you've been hurt, so you can do X, Y, Z. You feel like ain't nobody gonna understand. Like you said, we talk about why do men bury things so deep. Again, you feel like you one on one. You feel like your pain is that exclusive, right? So we talk about the shared burden of survival and understanding that if none of us are safe, if one of us ain't safe, none of us are safe. All right. If the weakest of us ain't safe, the strongest of us ain't safe. Not at all. I think that the way to safety is transparency and vulnerability, and not naive vulnerability, but just transparency in the places like I'm gonna show up as my actual self, my whole self. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of it, the challenge and the conflict. Because in all honesty, I feel like we all have representatives. We all show up and the best versions of ourselves. So what does it look like to, be secure when right now was a hard time anyway? It's a fucking panini right now. So it's a lot of energy flying around because all of us are acting like we're okay and we're not. We're fucked up. So it's so much that we have to put out there to act, just to show up, just to do the exchange versus being ourselves, if that makes sense. You know. Yeah, I understand that. Cookie, we having a got a live chat going for my folks that's listening on Anchor. My girl Cookie said I can give all the pure love and energy out, but if something in them just ain't right, I be giving that energy out for nothing, like falling on a dead spirit. You know, understanding again, it goes back to that individual, and I'm gonna just specifically speak to what you saying. What is the reflection? All right, all you can do is give love. All you can do is give what you got to give. You know what I'm saying? And it not being for nothing, it being about why he came in your life, what he came to show you. You feel what I'm saying? Because people can only opt in if they want to opt in. I couldn't make nobody opt in. I can't make my mama opt in. Can't make my baby mama opt in. Can't make nobody do nothing. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Shad say, trying to control these niggas. You trying to control these bitches. I just control the riches. You can't control nobody, man. You can't do it. So all we can do is love and pray that people receive. You know what I'm saying? And if they can't understand it, it's all about your capacity to see and your capacity to hold space. Sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it. Sometimes it's not what you do, but how you do it, how you show up. All right. To realize what it really means to give grace, right? It's so hard to give grace to ourselves, let alone give grace to other folks to know that, hey, it's all right. It's cool. Like it's really okay, and how to lead from a different place, right? So I done slowed down, and I think this season, and me working and doing the work. Last year I enrolled at California Integral Institute of Studies or whatever the hell, CIS. Started my sex therapy ASEX certification. I'm gonna finish that this year, God willing, and really integrated some things. Also was confirmed that I've been doing a lot of this work already in terms of helping clientele. I had a question today earlier that was like, what does it mean to be a nurturing dominant in my practices, and how and what does that look like in terms of service offerings? So I think moving now in a space as a integrative healer, psychotherapy being my foundation. However, the integration of spirit may move me out of the space of being a therapist to be a little bit more assertive, more aggressive, more more, I guess, to the root, to the point of what needs to be said and what needs to be done. In this space where I have clientele, where I built strong rapport with, um, really kind of moving out of traditional therapy and being a safe space and being able to guide individuals further into the realm of the erotic, the realm of the intimate, the sensual, the sexual, the shadows, so to speak. Whole lot of shadow work over here. I'm a shadow worker. I work the hoe. I know the hoes. They're my friends. So being able to really work in the shadows with the shadows, it allows me now the space to move into different modalities of healing. To be able to, where I've already created certain rapport with clientele, where there's already been an identified relationship dynamic, an intentional intimacy from the stance of like, I care for you. I want to be here as a safe space to show up and help guide you to your higher self. I'm aware and grounded enough to be able to move you into a more intimate healing space with me if that is what's necessary. because I feel like I've always, in my whole life now, that's why I wrote the book, that's why I talked about this shit. Um, about what it actually means to be a safe space. We was having orgies in high school. Me and my dogs. We was the niggas that was picking up Shouter in the goddamn G-Wagon and going back to the spot and having consensual and doing consensual things at a young age with our peers. Not again, I'm not glorifying this shit. Again, trauma informed identities that at that time really was a byproduct of us coming from homes where it was like shit, we top athletes, we got access to people and shit, we got a high sex drive and we out here fucking and we in your mama house and we doing all this shit. So to have an ethic at that young age, to understand what it meant to not be forceful, to understand that no meant no, as an athlete, realizing you had shit to lose. And we really knew, okay, if Shawty say it's a no-go, it's really a no-go. Um, I'm realizing a lot more are open. It's just what it means to really, again, look at yourself. I think the comment was, I think black women are afraid to explore the world of doms and subs. And I'm like, I'm realizing in my experience, the more, me and some of my clients discuss it, it's really just about that real hard look in the mirror, right? And real, I think there are times where if we're just being honest with ourselves and our lives, we don't know what power and surrender looks like. We don't know what power in sometimes taking control looks like. Some of us are stuck in these extreme, you know what I'm saying, polarities. And a lot of times it's about the integration and the bringing things together for you in radical ways. Sometimes you got to shock yourself. Sometimes it's for you to stretch your edges in a safe way, right? If a radical experience created the condition, what does it look like to over time radically in a safe way recondition yourself to something different, right? What does it mean to absolutely? And that's exactly some of the services, the comment says it's about an exchange of power. Exactly, power exchange, right? Power exchange that says that in this space, in this relationship, in this dynamic, there will be certain guidelines and certain rules and certain regulations and certain things that we gonna do because that's what you desire, and I'm gonna hold you to that because I care about you, because I want the best for you. And at the same time, if you know what I mean, move in a way that goes outside of what you want for yourself, I want to be in a space to where I can help guide you back to what you committed to, right? And I think in this modality, it may involve, physical aspects, right? It may involve sensory deprivation. It may involve impact play. It may involve, certain um, Reiki, you know, aspects. It may involve, some aspects of sensual touch, right? It may involve some things as I lean into these things, as I explore what it looks like for me to practice and integrate this into my actual life. Because again, I've been healing my motherfucking self. And I'm in a space where I'm grounded enough to be in relationship and partnership and practice ethical non-monogamy, and at the same time say, yeah, I can be committed to myself enough to be committed to someone, as well as show up in this capacity and not have my wires crossed and my shit all in a bundle. You know what I'm saying? To really know myself, really fuck myself, really trust myself. Like, that's a lot. And I don't take that for granted. And I'm not rushing it. So for anybody listening, understand that, there is a sexual component that I think a lot of individuals are afraid of, and they're afraid of it mainly because of their lack of ability, the lack of communication, and the desire to want to communicate and discuss what boundaries look like, and what does the integration of spirit with a spiritual based dom, someone who integrates spirit, what does that look like to know what is right for you, or what is right for this relationship, this healing relationship, and what is just some shit that we can do just because we say we can do it, right? What does it mean for this to be aligned? What does it mean for this to be for your healing, for your benefit? So it's not for you to work with everybody. It's for me to see with who aligns with me, you know? And so working with, I think, the nurturing dominant archetype for me came from, again, when I talk about growing up, my mother is a doctor of nursing practice. Like, she just retired, but she was a professor 30 years, ended up running a nursing department at a university here in Metro Atlanta, Clayton State. And damn near every nurse she knows somebody in every damn near clinic and hospital in Atlanta. And my second mama, my auntie, also damn near a doctor, taught French, retired Atlanta public school system worker. These matriarchs of the family who was boss women. They weren't no little dogs. They was big dogs. You see what I'm saying? So my understanding of the feminine was never as a powerful black man ever. And my mama little as hell, 5'3". I'm a big D1 linebacker. Nigga, I'm not bucking on my mama home. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't shitting on her. I'm not like, now, mind you, we clash now. Me and that, like, this him. Oh, we gonna do this, but I'm not finna go past a certain level with her like that. Like, so really understanding what it means for me to now really know the archetype of women that embody the masculine in a divine way, and understanding like the big boss ass powerful ass women that I'm in relationship with, that I work with, my clients, the individuals that feel safe with me, structuring all that fire, structuring all of that water, structuring, helping structure, you know what I'm saying, and putting some type of something around that shit, right? So it's not to say like I also have masculine, clients, but to sit with, the feminine energy that I've been in relationship with intimately is why this, you know, home, at least in terms of how I show up, is kind of where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to it. I'm excited about what it looks like for me to be myself. You know what I'm saying? Understanding this is a trap ethic, man. We've been out here in the trenches. We've been having sex for a long time. We've been doing shit for a long. We've been getting money for a long time, man. A long time. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing this for a long time. So it's like I would much rather help free us from the chains of heteronormativity, and allow us the space to cry, to feel, to you know what I'm saying, tap into our whole bodies, and not be goddamn not be in prison out here, self-imposed prison, because masculinity is a motherfucking prison. At least the version we've been given. It ain't nothing divine about this shit. And I'm saying that with my big chest. Ain't nothing about that shit sweet. Cause I got to slave myself. You know what I'm saying? I got to align myself. I got to be on top. I got to have a certain type of power. It got to look a certain type of way. There is no integration of spirit. What I came here to do. None of that shit. Cause I look like this. Niggas assume I'm posting. Nigga, nah, don't clock my path, my journey, nigga. Nigga, I know what I got going on. I know what coming for me home. You know what I'm saying? Y'all nigga worry about the wrong shit. Like, I know what we got going on over here. Like, it's really that. So in this new season, intimacy coaching, helping individuals, especially just defining and like really defining what your foundation for intimacy is, right? I think growing up having friends, women who there was always a soft space, a softer space there that never went into the romantic or sexual, but it was always very much a love, a soft love. Like, hey, like that's my baby, that's my love, that's someone I care for deeply. You see what I'm saying? So I think being that homie, lover, friend archetype for me is something that for a long period of my life I prided myself on. Like I could be the safe space. I was great side nigga, you know what I'm saying? For a long time. But that also, again, realizing that for me, it was really about safety. So it's like feed on the safety, don't feed on the wound, the feeling like, okay, you gotta show up and be all these things to get love, right? Why they choosing all your partners, there's dogs and shit, and you feeling some type of way about it. You know what I'm saying? But you just showing up as the best friend in the world. I would tell, like I think I wrote in my book, I said I was the gay best friend that wasn't gay. Cause I'm cool with all the bad bitches. Like all the baddies, all the, you know what I'm saying? That's me, right? Fucking with, one or two on, you know what I'm saying? But I always found my spaces with a diverse group of black women. Always, you know what I'm saying? So I can sit with what it meant for me to touch everybody, but just in a very felt like different way. It's like, damn, why y'all can't fuck on me? You know what I'm saying? And realizing, but they not supposed to, my boy. You're not supposed to be getting fucked on. You see what I'm saying? Like to really slow down and like interrogate what power, what divinity, what wealth, what you know what I'm saying? What this shit really means in this cricket room. Like, oh, I'm not shit because you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not moving in this way. Like I'm less than. I'm less of a man if I don't have these things, if I don't accomplish these things, if I don't do these things. And participating in these things hasn't gotten me anything, any points for really points in masculinity, points in keeping myself safe. If I can be honest, still being in the trenches, still having niggas actually respect me in a certain type of way. Like, yeah, looking like this, keeping myself fit and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it ain't really protected and it ain't really done nothing for me, right? But gave me some hard ass work. I think I came back. I said, I'm gonna choose to be this. I'm gonna choose to look like this and have to goddamn be safer, be the safe space for everybody. Cause goddamn, like niggas be gay, man. Folks, niggas be sucking dick and shit. Niggas be doing that. Folks be eating pussy. Women be, you know what I'm saying, eating pussy. Women be, you know what I'm saying, niggas take it from the back. Niggas hit it from the back. Women take it from the back. Women hit it from the back. You know what I'm saying? Bodies, non-binary folks. We do all type of shit in all type of ways. Black folks been showing up like that. I think at this point, you know what I'm saying? I just want to put it out here so we can remove this air of like, we can't talk about this shit. We can't actually, like, man, look, like these prisons. And I'm talking as a nigga who has wrestled with my sexuality in the past few years from a place of deep hurt that I done talked about for the past motherfucking 3 years at least. Deep hurt, man, deep pain. Lost my whole family, lost my whole identity, my whole, you know what I'm saying? Hurt after lost my daddy. Pain after pain, hurt after hurt, all type of shit, man. You see what I'm saying? To have to go inside, to have to explore, not externally, not with people. That's why we're gonna talk about intimacy and me time. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm a big fan of self-play and touching yourself like you love yourself, nigga, because I'm safe with myself, actually. The safest sex is with you. Know your body. Right. So it's a lot of shit when it comes to, and then again, we was having orgies at 15, 16 years old, right? Orgies at 15, 16 years old. Nigga, like I done seen dicks. I done seen naked black bodies. I done seen, you see what I'm saying? I done been, you know what I'm saying? I done been close to niggas when doing certain shit, you know what I'm saying? So that was at a young age. So it was only up until my late 20s where that energy, any homo, any it was at that point I hadn't experienced or felt any type of you know what I'm saying, like energy that wasn't aligned with heterosexuality up until I was working and living in Chattanooga by myself in the shadows, feeling really spiritually open, grieving from my dad's death, spiritually leaning into E5, leaning into these spiritual traditions, right? Not checking in with my egoon like that, out of pocket, out of line, making money, smoking, drinking, right? Working heavy hours, back and forth on the road, trying to take care of everybody but myself, doing all these things, up late night, right? And of course, when you grew up on porn, when you grew up in the space where like you can really get pussy and get into shit, right? You get into shit, right? But in the space where spirit was shutting shit down, it was like, I'm gonna find a way to get into shit. And when you find a way to get into shit, shit find a way to get into you. Shit find a way to find you. Right? Right? First time ever in spaces where it's like, okay, you realize who you are sexually. You realize how people see you and view you. Right? What pleasure can you experience and receive from folks that want to experience a big black beautiful man in the deep south, right? All types of kinks, all types of realities, and I'm gonna go further in that and talk about that on other episodes. But like, don't ever in your life think that this don't come from a place of me understanding what it means to be in my black body. A lot of interrogation here. I feel that, exploration, man. It's really just about exploring, the archetypes and who we are, right? I know as a dominant, as someone who gives care, who help, who takes care of, who shows up to, I guess, be the one doing, right? I understand what it means to need care, right? I understand that, like, I too actually want to be taken care of, right? It ain't about just showing up and doing. I've been doing that shit my whole life. So once I identified with that energy that says, "No, I actually want to trust a woman." Oh man, damn! I actually want to trust my partner. I actually want to do that. That would be nice. I actually don't want to feel like I have to lie at some point. I do want to actually be 1,000. Like I know that's my ethic has been my whole entire life. That's what I actually want to do. Right. That's what I actually want to do. Right. So really sitting with establishing an ethic, studying, taking my time. It's about 3 years in the making. So I've been again, I got my, got into school last year. I said I'm gonna really be intentional about this. And for me, it's felt like, from the 6 years it's been since I separated with my daughter's mother to now being in a more grounded, stable place in my personal life, not feeling like I had to mirror her life because she's married and had to justify my polyamory, justify my ethical my non-monogamy, which wasn't really all the way ethical at, you know what I'm saying? Like getting to this place is has taken work that I have to honor and that now has culminated in me showing up in this way. So, yeah, for those of you that hear this and want to learn more, I love to I'm sure I'm gonna come back on here and talk about more things. But this just I wanted to come on here. I'm gonna try to keep it under an hour and just I'll let y'all, man, let y'all know who I am, what I got going on, what the work look like. You feel me? Um, nah, man. We got comment. I appreciate you being on here, Cookie. Like, yeah, I appreciate you saying that and being transparent because your the experiences, the one or two experiences we have, the times where we try and it's not received, just know that's or it's not received or we feel like it's not going to be received. That is that work. That is that us showing up fully because sometimes the energy don't lie. It be times where we can show up and we just feel afraid or ashamed, and shame is a monster. Like that shit'll keep you in prison. Like so, I appreciate you. showing up and this work that I'm, leaning into, one being able to create safe spaces um, for the feminine. I feel like, we can have multiple committed relationships in our lives and don't have to necessarily be in a traditional way, but I feel like creating safety is key. It's so key. And me creating safety for myself in this cricket room is the reason why I'm showing up like this. This is how I feel safe. Uh, yeah, yeah, got to get it out. And again, it goes back to, can we create safety for our shadows? Can we integrate the shadows and create some safety for the shadows to have light shined on them and shit not to feel crazy? You know what I'm saying? I love it. Okay. I appreciate y'all letting the nigga know. Yeah, we gonna keep this shit under an hour, home. Them folks ain't playing. Yeah. I feel you. I feel the safest alone as well. We gonna talk about me time on probably the next one. But nah, gotta be safe, man. That's why we creating community. So we can talk about shit, discuss shit. Probably finna crank these soul sessions back up, man. You know what I'm saying? Get shit back popping Tony in. I want my people to feel safe. You're not weird. I promise you, you're not. We some freaks out here, man. You know what I'm saying? We're all pretty freaky. Don't keep it tucked. Pull it out. Get what I'm saying? Pull it out. Rock out with your cock out. You did. I love y'all, man. Hey, man, look. Hey, man. This shit is what it is. I love sex. I ain't gonna act like that. I just know I love my body, my life, my purpose, and that pleasure is not going to send me to hell. You understand what I'm saying? Let's all say it in agreement. Our pleasure ain't going to send us to hell. You dig? We going to stay alive. That's what we going to do. And we can talk about how hard it is to be safe, or we can come together in community and practice safety. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because niggas be fucking. Might as well be safe. I might as well talk about it and heal through all this shit. You feel me? So, look, man, I love y'all. This has been amazing. I feel good doing this shit. You did what I'm saying? I appreciate you, Kick. You done held it down in this motherfucker. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to feel like. Yeah. Oh, they know. Look, she said if her ancestors know what she like watching. Oh, they know. They watching you watching that nasty shit. What you mean? Girl, you wild. Hey man, look, they know and they love you and they want that pleasure for you. You here so you can experience that pleasure for them too. We gonna talk about that shit too. You know what I'm saying? All that healing frontwards and forwards and backwards. I love y'all, shout out. If nobody told you that I love you, it's your favorite child therapy, man. Hug, bye bye. We back at it. It's gonna be a great motherfucking year. Man, y'all tap in. I love you. Take care of yourself this week, man. Peace.